Hello, everyone.
Action. Here we are. Here we are. How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Laughing. So definitely, I'm very relaxed this week. I'm just working again on several things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to manage, of course, but it's fine. And I got some amazing, how do you say, amazing suggestion from Laurent on the new projects I'm working on.
Yeah.
I won't tell you any secret. So thank you, Laurent, for that. Really inspiring. Because it's really inspiring. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it, and I think Laurent is helping me to see the things in another point of view, which is really important to me, and another perspective, which is really enriching me, empowering me a lot. So thank you again for that.
The secret of a healthy relationship.
Okay, so straight to the topic today. We got two
So-
other questions that I got. I got it here. And the
Yeah.
first question is about. Can I read it or do you?
Yeah, sure.
What do you think?
Sure,
do you
sure,
want
sure.
to? Okay. Okay. The first one is about kick and bass. How do you usually mix kick and bass together? Okay. You first. Do you want to start?
Me
you want to kick it
first.
off today? Okay. You first.
Um, there's no big secret here. That's the problem with dance music in general. It tends to be extremely muddy, and the more you move towards the more underground genres, such as techno and progressive and stuff, the muddier it gets. So you tend to reach that low end. So what I usually do is, when the kick plays, nothing else plays in the low end, and
Okay.
when the bass plays,
Okay.
nothing else plays. So you have to be you have to balance those two. So I'm using a VU meter from Waves for that, because it's the best VU meter that I could find, and I just reach the I just check the little arrows in
Zero.
there, just to make sure that they reach a certain level for kick and bass, that the sum of these two doesn't,
Zero.
hits the zero. From there,
Yeah,
I know that I
exactly.
have a good volume balance. Now, when it comes to side chain and everything, instead of using heavy side chain, I like using a frequency based side chain, which is, you leave the high, you give the high end of the bass a little bit more space when the kick is running, because it's
Okay.
not a problem. I don't want
Okay.
to want it to use to I don't want it to sound too heavily side chained in general. So
Okay. Yeah, me neither. I don't like it. I don't like it neither. I mean, extreme side chain is definitely not for me.
Yeah.
As soon as I think there are several plugins that can help you to balance to help you to balance both kick and bass.
Mhm.
One is from Trackspacer.
Yeah, track
I'm gonna
spacer.
send you the link as soon as I can. Yeah, which is really nice. Another one that I usually do is Neutron from Ozone, which is essentially makes you understand where the bass is, or the sub bass is, and the kick is,
Yeah.
and and see what is the best spot where to place the bass or the sub bass
Yeah.
and the kick. This is essentially what I usually do. I use two instances of neutron, one for the kick and another one for the bass, and see where they clashes. And I usually decide every time where to cut, or if I want to cut the kick, or I usually kick the bass line.
Mhm.
This is my point of view. Or another thing that I usually do is, for example, if I got a heavy bass line, I usually put two same tracks for the bass line, and I cut one from 60
Yeah.
to high, and the other one from 60 low. And I extremely sidechain the low part of the 60 and low,
Mhm.
and the other one I leave the other one free. I never.
Yeah.
I just got 60, 65, and that's it.
What I use for that purpose is dynamic EQ in the Neutron package, but mostly
Yeah.
when it's automated kick, 4 on the floor stuff.
Oh, that's
What I usually do, I just end up using Shaperbox from Cable Guys. Do you know this plugin? It's an amazing plugin.
Yes, it's really good.
It's just the same principle as those, FX sequencers. It's not as reliable as Track Spacer or Neutron Advanced can be, because in terms of mixdown, it's not. No,
but it works. I think it works most time.
But it works and gets the job done. Now there are plenty of other ways to do it.
Yeah, of course. There is another one which is Lfo Tool, which is kind of similar to
Lfo
the one
Tool.
Laurent said. It's nice. It's really nice, and it works most of the time. I think you can find several videos on how LFO tools can create some space between kick and bassline or sub bass. So and again, just like Laurent said, I usually find the perfect balance between sub bass and the bassline and kick with the Vumeter from Waves. It was back in the days free, because I think they gave it for free. I'm not sure if
exactly. I got it for free myself. I never update it. It's because I tend.
Me neither.
I don't know about you, but I tend to avoid Waves by all means, because there is something that you need to know if you're a producer.
Exactly.
Is there sales policy? So actually, when you get a license, you get it valid for a year or two, I believe, and after that you have to pay to keep getting your product updates.
Yeah, I'm never updated.
So,
me neither. Exactly.
I tend to avoid the Waves products, but when it comes to VU meter, I believe it's a good spot. But it's a good job.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best.
And definitely one of the best. Even if you have to pay like $20 or euros for this, I would not really hesitate, because it really does one hell of a job. And this is exactly what you're after. This is the most precise VU meter I've ever seen. So it really does the job. Now there are other things. I'm sure that many other of our fans
many other companies
can link us to their favorite VU meters.
Of course, just let us know, because it is really important for us, and I think for many people that read or listen to our podcast.
True.
So let us know your favorite.
Okay.
So we're done for the first question. The second question is, which are your favorite? Where is that? Bass VST. Okay, the usual bass. The VST that you usually use for building your bass lines, or bass tones. You first?
Me first. Okay. So when it comes to bass, I have several approaches. There is one thing that really works like 99% of the time. It's a mini Moog emulation of any kind, because it's gonna hit the right frequency range 99% of the time. There are also other synths that I like using for bass, and that are really precision tools. I like using Zebra, because it's very precise in the low end, which is why the like of Hans Zimmer like it so much, because it's they need precision. Besides that, well, I have so many, but there is also the SEM or SEM V2, which is the SEM from Arturia, but I like also the other emulation of the Oberheim SEM from Brainworks.
It's for the plugin.
It's called Oberhausen.
You
know probably that I did It's amazing.
It's crazy. Such a crazy. It is. It sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, it sounds unbelievably good.
It's so rich.
And for those who don't know, I I actually did some of the factory patches for Brainworks Oberhausen when it got released, and it was a true honor. Thank you, by the way. And I cannot recommend this synth enough because it's the best emulation of the SEM. Actually, it kills everything else. But it's a question of low end here. So I like using those two because they have a specific way to deal with the low end, and that Oberhausen thing is just great because it gives you that raw, imprecise grain.
Yes, it's really rich of harmonic richness. It's really good. It's really good. It sounds big. It sounds huge. You can feel it in your stomach. Even if you get a small speaker, you can get the perception of.
It's all the harmonics. It's all the harmonics that you add.
Yeah, it's really rich.
What about you then? What are your favorite?
Yeah, I got. Besides the ones you said before, I got one. It's called Trillion, which is from the Spectrasonic family. Yeah, most of them they are really how would you say they are sampled. They sample some low frequencies from sinus or soul forms. Anyway, how would you say the sine forms? You know what I mean?
The sine wave,
the basic of the sound. Yeah, sine waves. I gotta say that Trillion is one of the best to me. Actually, it sounds really good. Another emulation is definitely the one from Arturius Minimoog, or there is another one from Reactor from Native Instruments, which is sound really good, which is very good and
Monarch.
It's got some
Monarch.
I love it. Monarch is really good. So if you don't have it, just test it, and it sounds really good. Exactly, it's the same richness in the low end.
Yeah, this is the thing. What else?
Another one that I'm testing and I'm trying and I'm loving right now, which is comes from the same factory, the same company from Zebra. It's called Repro, which is an emulation
of the Prophet.
Of the Prophet. It sounds amazing as well. I mean, there are different presets which I really love. But the emulation of the Prophet in general sound really good from my bassline. Sometimes they lack a little bit in low end, the very low end part, but it sounds good as well. I mean, at the same time, I think you can reach this kind of low end with another plugin that I usually use. Probably you know it is Ambassador. It's written Ambassador from Melda.
From Melda Production,
Not sure if you ever tried it.
Yeah.
Not sure if you ever tried it, but just a little bit of touch of Ambassador. Trust me, it changed pretty much anything.
I use the Brainworks subfilter to get some more bass in there.
Which is another one which I usually do.
I could give all of our nerds fans a tip here for creating a big monster bass with any single synthesizer that has multiple oscillators.
Okay.
One trick I use all the time, and that works like magic. But it's really, really loud. So you gotta keep an eye on your VU meters and your mixing and everything.
Yeah.
But actually, you can use a sine wave on top of your existing, bass sounds.
Bass.
But most people, they put it 12 semitones, so an octave lower, which is a mistake.
Yeah.
Just put it in the same phase as the rest, the same pitch as the rest, or maybe even 12 semitones higher, and you get all you get all the rounded sine wave, rounding the edges of your harmonics in that frequency range, and it gives a monster low end. But as I said,
exactly,
careful with that, because you will have to shelve, at least hit the curve a little bit and tame the curve, especially in the 150 to 250 range. or else you will get
This is an essential tip from Laurent. Absolutely, because it's really, I think nobody cares about that spot in the frequency, but it's really important. You gotta be really careful about that, because it can be really impressive, and sometimes it's too much. But if you miss that spot, you probably you don't know from your mental point of view, but something is lacking in the frequency. So
exactly.
you gotta be really care about that.
Exactly.
So you can feel it actually.
Yeah.
And this is definitely an essential tip. You got to follow this tip if you want to reach low end, if you want to really reach and full harmonics spectrum for the bass line. Definitely, totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's just a question of balance, of course. But I don't know about you, but when it comes to 200, 250 hertz, there is almost no information on my tracks. Nothing.
Exactly. Me neither. Sometimes I miss because I take care of the low end. Sometimes exactly there's an
you just
important
do the curve.
Shape.
And specifically with a kick drum, when you make some space in the 250 range, that's the muddy range.
Yeah.
If you make sure that there is space in there, but with a narrower Q resonance, you will get actually a much tighter low end overall.
Okay. Yes. Exactly.
And
exactly.
Make sure also you shelve everything between 20 and let's say 50 hertz. There shouldn't be much information in there, because it's actually, you will not hear that even on a big sound system. Actually, the big sound systems are even worse than the small sound systems. Did you know that?
Exactly. And they're taking a lot of space, a lot of information that you don't need it. And from a mastering point of view, mixing point of view, and a mastering point of view, they are taking a lot of energy, and you don't need this. You're just you're spending a lot of money on something that you can get. So definitely forget about that. Remove it. You don't need it. That's it.
Exactly.
And where else? I think, that's it. The other thing that I want to add to this conversation is please feel free to add your own preferences on about how do you usually mix kick and bass, and again your favorite plugins or VSTs or whatever on bassline, on how do you make bass in your track.
Sure, please send us your recommendations, because actually we are very curious and we are big nerds ourselves.
Me too.
And we like to explore things and new things, even though we don't necessarily have the time to check everything out. But I test software synthesizers all the time, also hardware, of course. And
of course,
would be happy about hearing your views and your favorite tools for the low end and everything.
Exactly.
So please, in the comment section, that would do us a favor, because we'd love to see that.
I have a few other questions, but I think we don't want to bore you or to take it too much or too long. So
actually,
I keep this question for the next time, right?
Yeah, we'll do that for next time.
Yeah,
next questions, please keep sending them. If you have any other questions,
keep sending them.
Please let us know. That's it for this week. See you next week, Guy, for another couple questions and probably another topic.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button, or a blue thumb, thumb up if you can. And see you next week on your favorite channel. Thanks a lot, Guy. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Ciao. Thanks a lot.